honestly, it is that easy to change your life. I believe when those things become non-negotiables, that is when change happens.
Hello and welcome to the One World Countless Stories podcast with me, Selina Novello. I am so excited that you are here. And today is Story Time with Selina, and we are calling this episode, If You Want Something You've Never Had, You Have to Do Something You've Never Done. And I'm going to get to why we are calling it that. But first off, I wanted to wish you a very happy New Year's. It is so exciting. We are starting 2023 off with a running start. I mean, I hope most of you guys are. For me, it hasn't been so much of a running start as what I may have wanted it to look like, but that's okay. We're enjoying the journey. We're here and we're doing it. I wanted to welcome all of the new listeners that we have. Welcome. I'm so excited that you are here. And I also want to say welcome to the returning listeners and a big thank you to everyone who shows up bi-weekly to listen to these episodes, because this is something that I just truly love to do and I pour my heart and soul into it. And it just means the world when I see that there's other people who enjoy it and listen to it. So thank you. This is a reminder that you can watch all of the One World Countless Story podcast episodes on my YouTube channel. All you have to do is search in Selina Novello in the search bar, or just go down below this video or down below this podcast, and you can find the link to do that. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click that subscribe button, whether you're on Spotify. I think you can follow Apple Music, you can subscribe. I'm not sure what the other ones are, but make sure you hit that little subscribe button, because it makes the world of a difference on how this podcast performs, gets pushed out, and it just means the world. And you can also subscribe on YouTube if you'd like. We're very close to our goal, and I couldn't be more excited to see this community grow, as this is one of my biggest passion projects, and I put my heart and soul into everything I do. So let's get started on today, and why you're really here to hear what is something that I am doing this year. So let's get started and not waste one more minute. I have a very big announcement to share with you guys all, and I've kind of been hesitant on sharing this with everybody because I kind of feel like it's like oh, she's doing this again. But it's very exciting for me. And that big announcement is that I am leaving school again. Now, this may come to a surprise to some of you. It may not to others. And it's this new thing that I'm doing. And instead of going to school, I'm going to be doing a lot of new things and putting more energy and effort into things like the podcast, my YouTube channel, and lots of different exciting things. And the thing that I was a little bit nervous about telling everybody that I wasn't going back to school for the second time is that you're kind of like, oh, she changes her mind so often. Like, when is she going to pick something? But you know what? It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, because it is simply just part of my journey, and I wanted to share it with you. Now, there is many reasons why I'm not going back to school, and I'll tell you right off the bat, and I'm not telling this to gloat or anything. It's not because my grades were bad. I didn't drop out because I had really bad grades. Like, I actually passed this last semester with A's and 1 B. So I did really well. And that's not the thing of why I'm not going back to school. And a lot of people kind of will go there like, oh, maybe she's not doing well, maybe blah. Lots of people have all these maybe and what ifs and fill in the story kind of thing. But I'm here to tell you that has nothing to do with grades. It just simply has everything to do with, I feel like my heart is calling me in a different direction, and I know that school will always be there. And a big reason why I did go back is because I had this beautiful scholarship. And then when that all kind of worked itself out, I was kind of like, now what? Do I really want to be here? And I started asking myself some of those more difficult questions. And in all that, I kind of learned that I'd rather be like this crazy person who can't make up her mind to being misunderstood than live another moment where I'm not truly being my most authentic self and not doing exactly what I feel will bring the most purpose into this world. Like, I feel like I have a lot of dreams and passions and goals, and they can coexist with school for sure. It's just very difficult to do these things. And another thing that I know about myself is that I do truly value education. I think learning and growing is so important. And so I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm just going to start learning in untraditional ways, not in a institution per se. I'm learning through books and people and experiences and different things. So I'm not saying like all education is garbage and that you should do this. I'm not saying it, because to everyone gets to choose their own path and gets to do what they feel is right for them. And it's kind of funny because I used to be so like, this is not the way that other people do it. This is not the path. But then I had to let go of that and really be like, there's no right or wrong path in this life, to be truly honest with you. And it's all our own story. We are the narrator. We're not the narrator. We're the author and the narrator, I guess. And we get to choose what path we go down and what we get to do next. And this decision, I did not just make overnight. It was a very thought out process, and I took a lot of time to weigh my pros and cons and what am I going to do if I'm not in school, like all these precautions, cautions, I don't know what you're gonna call those. And I have a plan. Like I know I have some sort of a plan, not like an exact plan, because I'm trying to let go of planning everything as much as I used to. But I really just feel like I'm very excited for this next chapter of my life and something that's a little bit different. Before, when I took my break, I was still in this like denial state. And this time it's completely different because I fully believe in myself. I'm fully owning this decision and fully I'm ready to go. And if it doesn't work out, guess what? I'll go back to school, but I don't even want to think about a plan B because my plan A is where I'm putting all of my energy into right now. So you might be wondering, well, Selina, what exactly are you going to do with all this new time that you have? Well, for sure, I'm going to travel. If you're new here, last year I took a year off. This is kind of where I'm going with this. I took a year off school and I was able to go travel Europe. And ever since I traveled, I have just not been able to stop. I absolutely love it. I went to Europe with my mom and then she left and I solo traveled for over a month and a half, I believe. And it was just the best thing. I'm going to experience new things, meet new people, and I have some very, very, very exciting things coming up, but I can't tell you about them yet. But I'm very, very excited for all the things that are coming this new year. So that is the big announcement that I am not going back to school once again, and I am really just embracing this decision. And another major difference from this time to last time is I asked everybody else what they thought before I made the decision. And this time I really took a lot of time to sit with it, to stay quiet, to just listen to what's going on inside my own head instead of everyone else's head. So I'm very, very, very excited that I'm taking this new leap, this new thing. And I just wanted to share a message that it's really up to you on what your life can look like and what you'll do with your life, and you have full control of it. That's kind of the scary part, where it's like you literally have full control of your life. It's kind of scary, but it's also this beautiful thing, and I am choosing to take up and down and around and turn left, turn right, a windy path. And I know that I will find my destination and that there's going to be lots of different destinations along the way. But just know that everything and anything can change in a moment and everything is possible. It's not easy, but everything is possible. And that is kind of the message where I was like, I've been feeling so stuck for so long. And I'm not telling people right now to like drop out of school, but I just really, my wish for the world is to ask themselves, what do I really want, instead of what does society, what does my parents, what does the world want me to do? Because if we're all living in alignment and finding our intuition and like living an aligned life where it's not always perfect, but you feel purposeful and happy, that is where I am trying to support others in right now. So I think that everybody gets to choose their own path, and I think it's beautiful whether you choose to get an education right out of high school or wait or do it a little bit differently. I think everybody's own path is so uniquely beautiful, and I love it. And that's another reason why I love this podcast, because not one person's story is the same, and every episode we talk about things that are completely different, but also some things that are very similar. And so my message is just like, it's okay, everything will unfold, and yeah, you don't need to be afraid to make changes and ask yourself, Like what I asked myself, what does Selina want? And it's powerful. It's very powerful. And so I want to talk about the New Year's and a little bit of why I called this episode. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And this is a quote, and I don't even know exactly who it's by because it's been said so much. And it's a beautiful and mind-boggling quote all at the same time. And this new year, I feel like normally I'm like really pumped for the new year. Like my energy levels right now they've never been this high this year yet. And it's just because I love being behind a mic and talking on this podcast and being here with you. I just love it so much. And so my energy is very high, but I've definitely been in this funk. And I was like so excited for the New Year's to start. And it just kind of like wasn't the same that it always is. And I normally have this like motivation, these lists, these things. I'm like, okay, I have a plan. I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And this year I've kind of been in a funk. I kind of feel like I'm a cocoon. I'm a caterpillar in a cocoon before it becomes a butterfly. And I recorded a video while I was in Sundry, which is just outside of where I live. And my parents have some property there, and I was spending some time there because one of my friends was like, dude, you need to just like take a break and go and like disconnect from everything. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And so I was able to go there, and I spent some time with my sister, and then I spent some time alone, really just thinking, learning, growing, and reflecting. And I made this really cool video while I was on a walk, and I was going to try to like re-record it, but sometimes masterpieces are just masterpieces. So I want to share this little clip from my walk with you of some of my thoughts that I've had in this new year, and how there's things that I'm doing very differently this year, because I reflected on my journal last year, and I seem every new year I have a journal entry because that's one of my goals, where I'm like, I'm going to start journaling every single day. And it's so funny. I read my 2021 January 1st journal entry, or no, sorry, 2022. I'm already a year ahead of myself. I read my 2022 journal entry, and it was so similar to what I want now. It's just mind blowing. But there was a little bit more optimistic vibes in that entry. But it's funny because I'm like, how many years am I going to keep wanting to prioritize specifically my mental and physical health and just let go of it right away? And so I'm going to play this video for you, and I hope it shares a little bit about kind of where I'm at, where my head's at. And this video will be posted on YouTube very soon. So if you want to watch it, you can as well, but it will not be posted right away. This is kind of like the podcast gift where they get to see this clip from earlier. And so that being said, their audio might not be as great. There might be some footsteps that you're hearing, some maybe dogs barking. There's going to be other noise in the video, but I just really wanted to share with you because I feel like there was a lot of really good and important things I said into it. So let's go to that clip.
So anyways, what I was saying was that I'm really hard on myself. And I don't know if any of you guys are also hard on yourself, but I feel like a lot of us were just naturally hard on ourselves like all the time. And I'm really hard on myself. And I'm like, I want to get out of this funk. I'm ready to get out. I mean, I'm kind of in this place where I was a while ago where I'm not going to school, and I'm like, well, now what? And I'm in this very fortunate position where I'm like, I could do anything. I could focus on my social media. I could start a business. I could travel more. I'm in the position, which I'm very blessed to be in, where I have so many paths in front of me. But that can sometimes really, really suck because then there's too many options.
That was the video clip. I really hope that you enjoyed it. And you learn something from it. And honestly, like, I am still growing and learning. And my hope for the new year in these podcast episodes, Story Time with Selina, I can share some more of my thoughts, some more of my insights, because I love to share information, like I said in the video. And I just really feel like this world can become a beautiful, more better place every single day when we learn and grow and just simply be ourselves. And so that is my goal for this year, truly for this podcast, is to just step more into owning who you are, learning new things. And I'm just going to start sharing new things that I learn with you. And I listen to a lot of podcasts myself. And so I hear some really, 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 really great things that kind of spark these ideas inside my head. So I want to start sharing some more of those with you this year. And of course, we're still going to have the traditional episodes where we go through other people's life stories, because that is another one of my passions. But after listening to that video, I hope it has sparked something for you. And I wanted to kind of just like set some things, say some things, tell you some things that I did, kind of more like a step by step, not really, but kind of like a step by step of things that I did that I would recommend anybody do. And it doesn't matter that it's already the third week of January. I think it is the third week of January already. That doesn't matter, because the great thing about our lives is that every day is a fresh beginning, every second is a fresh beginning, every moment is a fresh start. And so you can literally start following your dreams, setting goals, and starting achieving them way after the New Year's. It doesn't have to just be on January 1st. It can be whenever you want. You can change your life starting tomorrow. You can start changing your life whenever. It can start in 5 minutes, because you can just make the decision to do something different. But these are some things that I did while I was away on that trip. And the biggest thing was setting time to reflect, setting time to sit down with myself with no distractions, no shows, no music. You can still listen to music. I still listen to music, but like lyricless, so no lyrics, to really just think about your own thoughts. And I used to not be a fan of journaling. I really hadn't been, because I thought it had to be this perfect, specific way and had to look like X, Y, and Z. Then I realized, hold on, this is my journal. I can do whatever I want. I can be crazy. I can draw pictures. I can do bullet points. I can do full paragraphs. And so what I did is I allow myself to be free within my journal. And ever since then, I've loved journaling way more. But when I set that time to reflect, I don't say, okay, well, this is what everything has to look like. I'm like, this is my time to reflect on the past year, on what I would like to see in the future. And you have to start asking yourself some of those hard questions. And some of them, for example, is one that I said at the beginning of this episode. What does Selina Novello want? I literally wrote that on the top of my journal multiple times, and I drew like a mind map of all the things. And some of them were just words, some of them were specific things. And so ask yourself, what do I want? And how can I get to the next level? If that's what you're wanting to do, how can I get to the next level? How can I be a better student? And you need to also set yourself up for, what tools do I need to get there? Okay, if I want to start exercising, what tools do I need to get there? Okay, well, maybe a gym membership. If I already have a gym membership, or if I already have a membership to a facility, okay, well, I'm going to Google and see what programs they had. That's exactly what I did. One of my goals is to do fun movement, like I said. And I went onto the website where I already have a family membership. And I was like, okay, there's Zumba and there's Aquasize, and I like both of those. And I put them directly in my schedule. And I made the criteria that I cannot miss these unless there's a family emergency, a work meeting that cannot be done another day, like if it's very like important. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, there's no excuse of why I can't be there. And that is a really big thing that I learned through a podcast, through Jay Shetty's podcast. Love his podcast. I definitely recommend giving it a listen. But you have to make criteria for all of your goals. So when is it acceptable to not do X, Y, and Z? Right? And then honestly, after you have done that, get the tools. So if your goal is to learn more, okay, write a book of YouTube videos, books, podcasts you're going to start listening to more, and just start like making an action plan. And I'm not trying to give like a podcast on like how to set goals, because I could go into way further details. This is just more kind of some things that you can do where you can reflect, ask yourself those hard questions, learn more, set up an action plan. What tools do I need to achieve this? Make the criteria. When are things acceptable to achieve or to miss, and when are they not? And then make the commitment. Make the commitment to yourself that this year, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to start showing up for myself. And with the commitment piece, I advise that there's grace attached as well, because I've been in the trap where I don't do something and I'm really hard on myself. So it's like, make the commitment, you're just going to decide to make the change, but also make sure you keep grace in your mind. And then you just have to start doing the things. And I find that, like, I for sure do this, but a lot of us make it more complicated than it actually needs to be. It's a lot more simple, but we have to provide ourselves with the tools and the time to do these things. And I have been the person who's like, I'm way too busy. I don't have time to work out. I'm way too busy. I don't have time to go on a walk. I have to work. I have to do this. I have to do that. But at the end of the day, there's always time, and you can always make time for the things that really matter to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have loved every single minute of this podcast episode, and I can't wait for more to come out. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that download button. You can even leave a comment. Everything and anything is appreciated, and I hope you have the most beautiful day, and let's make 2023 a year to remember. All right, have a good day. Bye.